Hello and welcome to another video. So today we are taking a look at a HavenCraft version. This is of course one of the more popular decks right now, as one of the best decks, right up there with Roach Forest as probably top tier. So the Natura Forest builds don't really change too much from my last couple of videos that I did on them. Really the only nice addition is Destiny Wing, which is a really fitting one for this deck style, and you are playing this deck very similar to normal with Craving Splendor, nice amulet procs, good solid boards, and that's really all you need. And of course your big finish is usually Hollowed Feather, although not a necessity in this variation. I've noticed you can definitely win with just board pressure. So let's get right into this and take a look. So off, I am going up against Forestcraft. It's a good place to start since Forest is definitely super strong. The variations of Forest I enjoy most so far has been Fairy Forest, although Roach Forest is still extremely good. Honestly, I find it very hit and miss myself, where sure, if you have a really good hand, you can definitely win pretty much every game, but if you have a mediocre to bad hand, it is very hard to make a comeback on. Could just be me playing Roach, but that's what I've found so far. Overall, I found Haven to be a lot more consistent, at least, as a deck, so that's always nice. Turn 2, of course, City of Gold from the deck is exactly what I want to have on board. And my early setup with the Meowskers was really an idea to potentially stop them from playing anything annoying, small and little, that could possibly end me. Our biggest advantage against Roach here is that we can pretty much throw what we want to board and not need to worry. Since it does look like we're going up against a fairy variant possibly, then it's a little bit riskier, but still worth it. So I thought, why not get the amulet setup going very nicely early on. Fortunately, it got banished by Angelic Smite, but that does pretty much waste the majority of our opponent's turn. And we get a pretty good Meowskers along with a couple of the Saintly Squeaks now. Very nice way to deal 6 damage for the turn. We've still got plenty of cards here to use, so I'm really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, we don't have enough for lethal, but we can at least do a little bit of damage here. Every 1 damage at the moment will help us. So we are set up to go for lethal next turn, which obviously our opponent conceding we don't need, but that made it pretty easy. Some people will say, oh, I got lucky, I didn't come up against a Roach that went crazy or anything like that, but to be honest, that's how Roach is. It's super hit or miss, I found. It's consistent enough that it's annoying, but not consistent enough that you could easily win every single game with it. I find more often than not I'm doing at most a 1 in 3 game win. And that's playing pretty averagely. Of course, the more professional you get, the higher level of play you get with the Roach deck, then you can do better. I'm not the most experienced when it comes to Roach Forest, but that's just been my own findings, and I've found that I can much more easily beat it when I'm just playing more my style of decks. So we get a solid board with the 3-3 and the Meowskers set up. Unfortunately, Witch Snap, not the best thing to come up against. Also a deck I hadn't actually seen before. So this is a Earth Rune variant running on some of the new cards. Very interesting. Definitely makes for a much more interesting game when we know we're going up against something we haven't really seen. Pity I can't do much more here. The Giga Hand to face is not a fun one. At least with what we currently have, we should be able to do pretty alright. The Tutankhamun is a great card to use. I'll actually be able to, fortunately, take the entire board here without too much trouble. So while Splendor is normally better for attack damage, it's also really good removal. So I actually don't mind using it as such when I need it. And this golem isn't really a big threat. Especially since they didn't destroy the Carmen, which makes sense. They destroyed the Carmen, it was just going to come back. Unfortunately, I could have done a bit better here with the Meowscar's play and stuff, but this still wasn't too bad. I mean, I still would have been short if I tried to go for lethal here. So this actually worked out reasonably fine, although I should have went for Saintly Squeaks. That was just the fact that I already had lined up the play, so when I drew, I mistakenly didn't realise that I was going to have an opportunity to play another card. Not that it made a huge difference, because we still did pretty alright here.
You disgust me.
And it was still enough for us to allow the game over right there. So Haven all round has definitely turned into a very powerful deck, both mid and late game, along with, of course, easy win condition cards, which is insane. Haven, honestly, I could see some changes having to be made to the future of Haven if they don't want to just let it keep running wild. I definitely feel like it's going to be hard unless they hit Hollow Feather on its own. Changing anything else just feels really bad for the archetype, but that's just me. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like button and subscribe. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time, guys, see ya.